Welcome back to my Selling Sunset Season 6 review. I'm going to be reviewing episode 1 till 6. That's where I've got up to. And the season kicks off with us finding out Heather is pregnant and Christine is gone. Mother Monster is out of there. We have Chriselle, who tells us she's been working from home a lot, which is basically the new way to get over horrible breakups with your boss. So it's basically like, I'll see you in 8 months, hon. I'm just gonna work from home for like the next 100 months until I don't feel heart palpitations every time I have to come into the office. So, I mean, you know, if you're lucky enough to be in that position, that is one way you can get through the aftermath of a bad situation. Amanza was looking amazing, basically. First 2 episodes, I thought she was kind of like this X-Men character, kind of Star Trek character. Like, when did the aliens get so hot? I don't know, but she was definitely doing that for the first few seasons, which kind of helps because I don't feel she added much so far this season. She kind of has just been like looking pretty, but not really kicking things off too much. Maybe they need to bring Christine back because those two used to kind of fall out every season. So that was always a little bit interesting. We do have a new person in the house, though. We have a new brunette in the office. I guess also Vanessa seems to have exited somewhere. We're not really told what's happened to her. But Bre, I thought she was going to be called Bre, but it's actually Brie. Brie shows up and she is Nick Cannon's baby mama, but also a very great real estate person, apparently. She knows a lot of athletes and music type people. And I think they all kind of come together in a Brokers Open. Chelsea somebody has a Brokers Open, and it's very full on, and it's like the Dress Olympics this season is next level. Like, everybody is vying for that gold medal when it comes to who can put on the most outlandish, amazing thing. So they're all like in there duking it out for the winner of the Dress Olympics. I mean, I think Chelsea was probably serving. I mean, Emma was up there too. So they're all up there with the trying to give you something to look at that's kind of bananas and crazy. But yeah, Chelsea was serving a lot of looks this season. There was one especially troubling moment, which I was like, does somebody need to make an emergency call? Because I don't know if she's wearing a belt or a sash or a thing or a glove. Like, I don't know what's happening right now, but she has come into the public view with pretty much just a sash to cover her nads. So it was different, and she tried to sit down with the outfit and it wasn't really working out for her, but she did sort of get there in the end. Then she had those like 2 white flowers on her chest, which was also very extreme. But I think Rochelle also had a moment with foliage where she kind of had this like pink thing like attached to her chest, but that also, it did look very pretty, but it was a lot of like, what is happening and how is that stuck to yourself? But somehow it's working in a strange way. So yeah, Brie is the new addition to the office. She's a new mama. I think she had the baby like 6 weeks ago or something crazy. But she looks all like fresh and happy and glad to be out of the house. Probably glad to be away from Nick Cannon, just saying FYI. You know, she's glad to be out of the house and back on her tings, back on the grind. I kid. I love Nick Cannon, okay? Please don't come after me with your 22 kids or whatever it is. I do really miss him on America's Got Talent, just saying. But yeah, so she's she's new to the office. I think what I noticed this season is that Chelsea's got like, yeah, Chelsea was just on one a lot this season. She's definitely got like a bee, or is it a brie, in her bonnet this season. She just was not happy with the new girl. She was very, very suspicious of her, and she didn't want to hear too much. She didn't like what she was seeing, basically, from the jump. Jason seems to be in love with his 24, or is it 25, depending on what time zone you're in, new gal pal. And we also get to meet Nicole, also kind of a new addition, although it turns out she's been there forever, one of the oldest members of the Oppenheim group, and she calls herself the OG, the original girlfriend, so she's even pre-Mary in terms of knowing Jason and Brett. And you know, Nicole's interesting. You know, I will go into her a little bit more in a minute, but we do get to hear a bit of like Bree's relationship with Nick Cannon, so that is brought into discussion at some point. It did feel very Love and Hip Hop Sunset edition. You know, I feel as if Nick Cannon is making more pit stops than an Amazon package deliverer, because she was trying to explain how he tries to visit each of his 10 offspring in a day when he gets back to LA, and it was just very interesting. I feel like UPS, if he ever is out of work, he will at least have a lot of experience to be some kind of package deliverer. And yeah, so the Baby Daddy Chronicles, we got to hear a little bit about that. And then Emma, there was a little bit of a, was she trying to steal a client? Wasn't she trying to steal a client? But really, I think the big key thing I saw this first 6 episodes was Nicole versus Chrishell. That was a big thing. And I honestly did think when they started having their little argument at Chelsea's Brokers Open that Nicole was going to take it. I thought, this seems like Nicole's going to win this one. But Chrishell came out swinging and was having none of it. For me, she kind of just shut it. She was a true warrior, and she said to Nicole, "I will call you a bitch because you are a bitch and you've been a bitch." And honestly, those were the truest words of the season, because Nicole is a big old bitch. Like, she was just being a total bitch for the first 3 episodes. And it was just funny because she was trying to give us this, like, I'm so respectful, I'm a head of the household, I don't raise my voice higher than 2 decibels, and I always keep it professional and dignified. But she was kind of being a bitch, like, throughout. So I think Chrishell was justified in kind of pointing out to her that she was the one bringing all the unnecessary drama to proceedings. And Chrishell walked off saying, I'm done giving you your moment. And I think that was an apt ending to what had transpired between the two of them. I did feel as if, I didn't think I'd be seeing Chrishell walking out of any more events on her own. As in previous seasons, that started to be a trope, even though she seemed to break that curse by season 5. But, are we going to be going back to seeing Chrishell having spats with people and then having to walk out of an event on her own with her head down? The only silver lining is that this time she did actually hold her own very well. So it wasn't really so much head down as like head very much up and just walking on out, because she really just didn't have any more time to listen to Nicole's warblings. Yeah, and Chino seems to be the new The Valley from all the houses they were trying to point out to us. And Italian porcelain looks pretty good. So, that's something to put in your house if you ever feel like you have, 250 grand lying around. Overall, I feel as if, what else did I notice? Overall, yeah, I feel like this season Chelsea versus Brie was also a second thing. So we had Nicole versus Chrishell, and then we had Chelsea versus Brie. That was sort of happening a lot. Like Emma and Brie got into something, but Emma was able to accept Brie's apology. Whereas when Chelsea and Brie got into something, Chelsea was like, yeah, I'm still not good about this situation. So Chelsea just was not happy this season. For quite a few reasons, but she just sat there drinking her mock cock, or is it real cock? I don't know. She was the tea this season. She wasn't looking for the tea because she was the tea. She was just like spatting it out with quite a few of them, but especially Brie. And Heather was quite a bit of a Mother Mary this season. She was just kind of like smoothing things over and being a bit of a host. And, if the baby still doesn't want to come, like normally I feel in Selling Sunset, the baby's already come out by episode 2 or 3, somebody would have had at least a 3rd child by episode 4, but, Heather's holding on to her kid for as long as possible. And yeah, overall, I think Bree's actually pretty all right for somebody who has 10 stepkids to worry about. I think she's actually quite a nice girl, quite a nice addition to the team. I think she holds her own, but she's also about her business. And it's good to watch her just trying to get on with the business side instead of trying to get too dragged into other people's rando drama. In very unsettling news, or is it settling news? I don't know. Sometimes you like to be reassured that people are taking time off, but for me it was unsettling that Jason decided to take off to Europe, which is very un-Jason-like. I mean, these are the people that brought us Mary working on her wedding day, so I don't understand why he's suddenly having this like strange third midlife crisis for him, and just decided to take off like for 3 weeks or whatever it was, and leave his business in the slightly incapable hands of Mary, who it turns out she's great at selling, but maybe she doesn't love management as much, in the sense of she's somebody that doesn't particularly want to sit around listening to confrontations and having to put out fires between people. And yet that's pretty much what most of management is. And so she just seemed to want to take a bit of a back seat when her fellow workers that she was supposed to be leading and keeping in order decided to sort of start, tearing chunks out of each other. She was just a bit lackluster and kind of bringing it to an end. So yeah, everybody was kind of a bit like, what's going on? Nobody's here to steer us. Jason's off. Whoa, what do we do? Let's just scream at each other and try and snatch wigs. It was all a bit up in the air because Jason just decided to disappear. But yeah, who else got into it while Jason was away? I mean, again, Chelsea was, she heard about Bree and Nick having another baby mama came into the picture, and Chelsea shared her thoughts on it, and a lot of people felt it was a bit too judgy, which, it didn't sound great, but I do think she did have a point. In this day and age, I'm not really sure why anybody's having more than like 3 kids, unless you're like Elon Musk and like whoever the other billionaire is. I don't understand why you're having more than like 3 kids. It's like we're not living in the dark ages anymore. Like, you're not running a chieftainship. None of us are pharaohs anymore. Like, no one's coming to us with a train of camels and trading harems for gold bars. So I don't know why he's having all these kids. It's like mind-boggling to me. It's, his name isn't Oprah, and unless he has a secret hedge fund that we don't know about, it just makes no sense to me. Why have more than like 5? He doesn't live in a farming community. It just makes no sense to me. It's like, it's such 1272 behavior. And so I also am a little bit like, what is up with you? Like, is this an addiction? Surely therapy would be cheaper at this point. Like, whatever is swirling around in your brain telling you that, dumping your seed into multiple wombs is somehow the answer to your, I don't know. Maybe somebody could just give him a hug is all I'm trying to say. But yeah, strange times. And I don't know. I felt it was very odd behavior, so I can see why she's like, what, WTF? But then it did come across a bit like harsh on this other person that she doesn't even know that well. So who knows what's going on with people. But yeah, I think the final takeaway I got from the first 6 episodes is that Mary's not super great at management, and she kind of helped lose control of the ship a bit. So I think people were kind of happy that Jason came back and they could start to kind of resettle everything. I also realized that I can tell the difference between Jason and Brett now. So we're into season 6 and I can quite clearly, happily tell the difference between Jason and Brett. So I feel very proud of myself, and all those 6 seasons of watching have paid off, and I have one useful skill in life now, which is I can tell the difference between a pair of real estate moguls. So good for me. But yeah, my final thoughts after the first 6 episodes is basically that Nicole is a bit shady. She is a bit shady, and she deserved her dress down. And we will see what she gets up to in episodes 7 to 11. And I will be able to conclusively tell you if she is still shady or if she manages to redeem herself even a little bit. So catch up with me in part 2 when I go over episodes 7 to 11 and I let you know my verdict on the full season. But so far, I hope you have enjoyed episodes 1 to 6. And are you missing Christine? Are you missing Mother Monster? Has the light gone out a little bit in Selling Sunset without that darling queen hanging around, harassing people and making women cry? You let me know, and I will see you in part 2. Bye!